welcome to Travesty of Justice, the 400,000th wrestling podcast. This is episode 2, and today we're going to be continuing our WrestleMania count up, going through each year's grandest stage of them all, and giving our thoughts. This is WrestleMania 2, Travesty of Justice. WrestleMania 2, again, we're watching this on the WWE Network, shameless plug. Run time for this was 3 hours, 1 minute, and 10 grueling seconds.
Mother of God.
This one was split across 3 venues. In a total, we had 40,085 people in attendance, 389,000 people watching at home. This is the first year that pay-per-view is a thing. There were a few other closed-circuit buys, but not a whole lot. We mentioned that this takes place across 3 different venues. We have the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, the Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois, and the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, where Ryan is living in L.A.
In shame.
Ooh.
Yeah, cheap heat.
This is on April 7th, 1986. This is the only WrestleMania to ever take place on a Monday.
That's bizarre.
We have Vince McMahon and Susan St. James in New York. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
We have Okerlund, Monsoon, and Kathy Lee Crosby in Illinois. We have Ventura, Hayes, and fucking Elvira in Los Angeles.
Which, side note here, I will stand for Susan St. James until the day they bury me.
That is great.
You're
We
a
will discuss
person.
that later. We'd also like to begin this time by talking about some of the cultural landscape between WrestleMania 1 before WrestleMania 2. So, Scooter, talk about some of the movies that came out between the two.
All right, the movies that came out during that year were Rambo: First Blood Part 2, which is probably one of the best titles in movies. A View to a Kill, The Goonies, which I've never actually watched.
It's okay, me.
Don't do it. It's horrible. It's horrible. Don't do it.
Back to the Future. That's the amazing movie.
Fuck yeah, number 1 that year, wasn't it?
I know, right? 210 million.
Hot damn.
Rocky 4, which is probably the best Rocky. That's not true.
No, it's not true.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
That's just for you, Ryan.
Yay, thank you.
And moving into 1986, we have Police Academy 3.
Yes.
Woo.
1985 was a hell of a year for movies, huh?
I know, right?
All right, Ryan, what happened with some of the albums?
Lord have mercy. Okay, so the most important album, as you know, is probably No Jacket Required by Phil Collins. So, he's ready to party. Fucking No Jacket Required.
That's true.
Also, Brother in Arms by Dire Straits, of course, with the breakout single,
yes!
Money for Nothing. And more importantly, the Weird Al single about the Beverly Hillbillies. And then The Head on the Door by The Cure, Rum, Sodomy, and the Lash by The Pogues.
Of course, everybody.
Yes,
course,
that classic album, obviously.
Scooter, I think that he's challenging your title of indie darling.
No. Martin, of course, your favorite musician of all time, released The Firstborn is Dead by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Oh, good. Did he sing in tune on that one? Of course not.
Calling it singing is, by what degree of courtesy can we refer to this as singing? But yeah, so that was the cultural landscape for 1985, but it pales in comparison to the banner year that was 1986 for music. Okay.
What got released in 86?
Master of Puppets by Metallica, obviously. But
fuck yeah.
Also Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi.
Oh my god.
Boo.
No.
Fuck you, that's awesome.
What, you don't like Bon Jovi? And then also one of the greatest...
Nickelback of the 80s.
Shut up. No. No, you know what the Nickelback of the 80s was? Okay, so, and I researched this. The Top Gun soundtrack ran Train on 1986.
Awesome.
It could not be stopped. It was...
Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan!
What?
Danger Zone!
Yes.
I hate you. I hate you so much. No, the important thing is that, Take My Breath Away by Berlin was horribly wasted on Top Gun. It was such a great makeout jam.
Yeah. We did have some beautiful singles topping up the actual just song chart. For 4 weeks, We Are the World by USA for Africa.
This fuck train has no brakes.
Including We Are... Not only were they the world, they were also the children. And yet, if you looked at them, none of them were children. 3 weeks on there. Shout by Tears for Fears. Going back to Dire Straits, Money for Nothing spent 3 weeks. Take on Me was only on there for 1 week, number one.
Oh,
Those
really?
are the number one songs. Also, 1985, I'm pretty sure Weird Al, who just released... what's the name of the new album?
Was it Dare to Be Stupid?
No.
Dare to Be Stupid was released in 1985.
I just forgot. I literally looked at it today.
Oh my God. None of us can remember.
We're terrible people.
Holy shit.
Oh god, I'm such a bad Weird Al fan.
Fun is mandatory?
Mandatory fun. Fuck yeah. High five, Scooter.
Yeah.
Good job. Okay. Into 1986, That's What Friends Are For by Dion and Friends. Spent 4 fucking weeks on there.
What you really learn, actually, by the way, after talking about these things, you really old school wrestling makes a lot more sense for the fact that nobody had any goddamn taste back then.
How Will I Know by Whitney Houston spent 2 weeks on there, and then actually leading into WrestleMania 2. Rock Me Amadeus by Fountain.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. Spent a total of 3 weeks
It's
on
there.
Now. So like I said, this is the first and only WrestleMania held in 3 separate venues at the same time, and for a very, very good reason.
The audience asks itself why, though, as we still do to this day.
I'm so confused.
I actually kept looking at, like, wait a minute, why the fuck are they in Los Angeles? I thought they were at the Rosemont, and then I started looking for it, like, why would they... And then I started trying to figure out why they would split it between 3 venues.
Well, I'm sure we're going to get to this later, but it caused for very weird time constraints where stuff would be happening and you'd hear stuff in the background that was important to matches.
Right.
But
yeah.
I'm sure we'll touch that later.
Oh boy.
Like during people's promos, and you had the Michael Buffer guy yelling stuff.
Kind of. Now, for our opening, we had a beautiful porn sax opening over the New York City skyline.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for the Twin Towers.
Gonna give that city the dick.
Ryan!
Moment of silence!
Okay, we are met by Vince, who welcomes everyone, but this is before his 2 different tones, where he had... what were the 2 ones that he had? Like WrestleMania 9 is... Caesar's Palace! And oh yeah, here you go!
Oh my god.
Vince he deploys one of his 2 voices. He gets a little bit crazy at the end, which causes his earpiece to pop out.
Not as crazy as Bobby the Brain Heenan at one point, though.
That's true. He comes in on the Campbell, but that's episode 9.
Yeah.
He gets a little bit crazy, and his earpiece pops out, and he gets to introduce Susan St. James on color commentary. Oh my god!
I had to look her up because I've never heard of her before.
Right.
No idea. She was on some TV show in the 70s. That's the best I got.
Yeah. No, but honestly, and I should probably get this out of the way right now because I can feel a lot of judgment from Tennessee right now that that I love Susan St. James, and the reason that I love her, it's like a direct contrast to the Jesse the Body Ventura being constantly impressed and excited by everything, and then you've got your drunk Virginia Slim smoking auntie over here.
Okay.
And she's just constantly yeah, give me a break, come on T, just completely. And it's great because as it goes on, she looks like she's getting progressively drunker off camera.
She probably is.
And and she keeps smiling like she thinks we don't know that she's drunk and she's being sneaky.
I like that.
Well, I just love the fact she's a giant mark for George the Animal Steel.
She is a big mark.
We will get to that.
Oh, man.
Okay, guys.
Oh, Lord.
Right away, you can tell that the lighting is much improved. You can see more than 4 people in the audience. Ray Charles is led in to do America the Beautiful. He does a very nice job.
And based on proceeds from the previous WrestleMania, they were able to buy 3 naked light bulbs to hang from the fucking rafters.
That's true. Doing some more research, apparently it's celebrity guest. Ryan, you joked about they had a celebrity that canceled on them, and so they just shoved Mean Gene out there on WrestleMania 1.
Yep.
That is exactly what happened. I'm not sure what celebrity it was, but I'm going to do some research and try and put that in for 3.
That's beautiful. I feel so vindicated.
This is set over shots of Americana, the Grand Canyon, amber waves of grain, all that shit. Right at the beginning, though, he goes, oh, and then it's just the most fucking screaming mic feedback.
Yeah.
And it drowns him out. That's like ECW starting. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not Howard Finkel this year, but huge pop for Ray.
I just got to point out with the slides that are show Americana and everything that's great, it goes JFK, Martin Luther King, Hulk Hogan,
who is certainly up there, I think, with Martin Luther, Reverend Martin.
Well, complete with sparkles behind him.
He did as much.
He closes out the slideshow, which is pretty amazing.
No, and actually, the great thing was there was one shot in there that confused the shit out of me, which was dudes sitting in an office looking at a camera, just in a cubicle, just in a weird writer's room, and I assume that was just the writers trying to get themselves in there. But the other great thing, at one point, it's Hulk Hogan in front of. Did you notice the fake fireworks in the background? In front of a Windows 95 screensaver.
I love it.
Wow, that's 10 years before Windows 95.
Yeah, I need an animated GIF of Hulk Hogan in front of Windows 95 screensaver to use as a response to everything in my life.
Tumblr, make it happen.
Yep, gonna do it.
Shout out to Tumblr.
Yep.
We go ahead and start with our first promo of the night with Roddy Piper. I have one note here. This motherfucker on the mic.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking awesome.
Beautiful.
He kills
Great
it.
talker. He gets over that if he gets knocked out, he will quit boxing.
Tiddlywinks.
He will quit wrestling, tiddlywinks, and heterosexuality. Cowboy Bob Orton gives him an erotic back massage throughout.
Entire time. It's amazing.
Uncomfortably while staring at the camera. It's beautiful.
Piper at the end says he will never shave his head like an Indian and paint his face black.
Which funny thing there, by the way.
Yeah, he keeps saying it.
No,
three times.
And funny thing there, actually. So I'm watching this with Christina, my girlfriend, and she sort of points out at one point that I like to believe that in Roddy Piper's head, he's not aware that black people exist, and he thinks that it's just a really weird gimmick.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes me feel.
He
a
is
little
Canadian.
bit better.
There are no black people in Canada.
Right, as we know.
That's true.
Yeah.
We come to our first glorious match of the night. Magnificent Don Muraco with Mr. Fuji versus Paul Orndorff. This is taking place in New York. No entrances on this match.
No. Which is weird, because I just want to point out the thing that kind of threw me off, because normally we're used to the pre-match promos. Well, they decided they don't have time for this shit and just started doing voiceovers during the match.
It's so true. I had no fucking idea here. By the way, you'll notice that Magnificent Don Muraco is the heel because he's being accompanied by Mr. Fuji,
right.
Which means that Paul Orndorff is the
face.
So, who was in the main event as the heel last year? Paul Orndorff.
Mikey Whipwreck?
Huh.
Paul
Orndorff I believe
was a
that was
heel
just.
last year.
I believe that was just incredible, Scooter.
I'm gonna kill you all. So how quickly time changes things. Paul Orndorff does get a huge face pop despite being a heel in the last WrestleMania. I paused here and said, what the fuck just happened? So I looked it up. The very first episode of Saturday Night Main Event, which was in the middle of May in '85, Piper and Orton went ahead and beat up Orndorff, blaming him for the loss of WrestleMania 1. Later that night, Piper and Orton were about to double-team Hogan. Hot.
Sure.
And Orndorff ran into Hogan's aid. So that's how you go ahead and become a face. He later completed the Triforce of face turning by firing Bobby Heenan as his manager.
Right.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
Vince introduces us to some pre-recorded audio from the participants in the match. Even though he brings it in, it is confusing as shit to watch them going around, and you're like, who the fuck is talking? How many people are at this desk? And then you're like, then your brain registers what Vince said.
Right.
And they're very subpar promos, to be honest.
They are. Both of these guys
actually,
are fucking huge.
I'm
absolutely
jacked. And it's great because again they look like ham hocks and spandex. But the funny thing about this match I noticed is that 100% of this match is arm wrenches.
Oh my god!
At no point is somebody not getting an arm wrench from the other guy.
I have that. How long can an armbar-ish hold last? Vince actually gets over some play-by-play. Susan St. James has no idea what the fuck is going on.
Exactly.
She also cannot seem to find her microphone, as you can barely hear her.
Right.
What a loss.
No.
I will say the crowd is really into the match, cheering with every hit from Paul. And Susan St. James, during one of the 40 arm bars, comments that Paul is using an ancient Chinese technique. I rewound this about 4 or 5 times. I thought maybe she was like, I thought maybe I missed something, and like Morocco did something, and maybe she was saying Mr. Fuji taught him because it's the 80s and everybody's just Asian.
And Fuji, of course, being a very Chinese name, as we
right
as you do.
And I still don't know what the fuck she meant by that. I guess it was completely devoid from the reference to Fuji, which, I mean, it makes sense since he's billed as from Japan. It would make sense to not reference him with the Chinese stuff, but wrestling has conditioned me.
you expect a level of quality.
I was like, no, she's talking about Fuji.
Just brainless.
The fight heads outside the ring. Still no mats. ECW. Not very well lit, but they get a spotlight on that motherfucker.
And really, they kept getting huge pops from the crowd. And what I noticed is that like. Now you have to like murder a guy's entire hometown just to get a pop like that. And this one, it was like an arm drag from Orndorff, and everybody was like screaming their asses off.
They've never really seen an arm drag before.
When Jesse Ventura, like when someone did a drop kick in WrestleMania 1, Jesse Ventura shit his pants.
He ejaculated on the spot.
And shitting his pants. It's really awful. The bell rings here as they're fighting on the outside. I have no idea why. And the crowd goes apeshit with bullshit chants.
It's very clearly saying bullshit.
It's beautiful.
Because, like, honestly, like, this match wasn't too bad. It was average. And this ending absolutely ruined.
It was the least satisfying conclusion I think I've ever seen for a match.
Well, no, I mean, it's like, normally we're used today that when you hear the bell ring, they pretty much immediately tell you what the result is. And everyone's just like, it was almost like the referee gaffed it. Because everyone just kind of stood around looking at each other, like what?
Well,
what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. But this is back in the day where there was a little bit more of a lag in the ring announcer. But Vince does pick up on the bullshit chants. How can you not?
Of course.
He says the crowd is not very happy with this decision.
It's that kind of
I lost my mind.
It's that kind of searing insight we've come to expect from Vince McMahon.
Because if you want to kill a crowd, you do it by opening your show with a double count out.
Well, which is what happens. They were out there, I swear to God, 3 seconds.
Well,
yeah, it was almost immediately.
And really, I feel bad for Paul Orndorff that he like headlined last WrestleMania, and now he's jerking the curtain for this nonsense.
They've had the world champion curtain jerking before. They did that at Survivor Series.
It's like curtain, like being the opener is not necessarily a bad spot because
it's true. Look at the last 2 pay-per-views; those are the match of the nights.
Because like the crowd is usually hotter because it's like it's fresh. It's a match right before the main event that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, that's the piss.
Yeah, but it is the piss break match. But I almost wondered if this one. I got the impression that Orndorff and Morocco were both trying to no sell the other one.
There was a little bit of that,
that's 2 macho guys going in there.
Yeah. Apparently, the ref calls the match as a double countout, which comes after what must be the fastest 10 count ever.
Right.
This decision is announced during Mr. T's promo with the audio splicing over each other. I had to listen like 3 times to figure out what was being said.
Right. Yeah, you just can't even hear Fink talking because Mr. T's screaming something about his midget. I don't know.
He does have a midget?
No, he screamed. Yeah, he screams about his midget, and then also the other thing that he said that I wrote down was, if he starts doing dirty stuff, I'm going to start doing dirty stuff. And
I have that quote as well.
That got me rock fucking hard. And then also I love...
Whoa!
No, yeah, and I love, by the way, that old school trash talking was literally all of it was, I am going to punch you in the mouth. That was all of it.
Well, like it's just that's the other thing about it. It's like it's announced, you can't hear it, and it's like, do they really just do a double count out finish? It's kind of like I couldn't believe it when it happened.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Match lasted for all of 3 minutes 17 seconds. So after Mr. T is talking about all the dirty stuff that he's going to let be done to him and do in response,
and then
what did you guys think about the match?
Towel each other off until they're mutually satisfied.
What'd you think, Ryan?
I gave Orndorff versus Morocco a 1 out of 5. I was so... And it was such... I mean, like, okay. So the first match is supposed to be the one that gets the crowd on their feet and gets them pumped about, the rest of the night. And this one was just 2 sad fat men no-selling each other. And then...
They're anything... Ryan, there's so many steroids in their blood system, they're anything but fat.
There is no body fat in that ring.
That's true. So it's literally just 2 enormous hunks.
Sad muscles.
It's 2 sad muscles in a sock. Just like cuddling for like they sort of aggressively cuddled each other and then got a double disqualification. It was
for 3 minutes.
Oh my god.
That kind of describes my sex life.
Sure. Yeah, same.
Scooter?
I mean, like, I kind of already basically stated my opinion on the match. It was a passable match until you get to the end when it's like it's a double count out of nowhere, and it feels like the ref counted to 3. So I have to give this match a 1 out of 5 because of it, because of the finish.
I don't have a whole lot to say on this one. It was so fast. The finish was stupid, but I thought that it generated some nice pops from the fans. I don't know if they were just like, fuck yes, WrestleMania! Or what.
It might have been.
I was very nice and gave this shit fest a 2.
Oh, there you go. But then
Don Morocco was inducted. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but then also I wanted to point out, is it just me, or is every body slam that everyone does completely identical in this period? Because, like,
yes.
I feel like, there are weird variations on, like, an arm drag or a clothesline, but it's amazing. It's like you're playing a video game, and everybody is programmed to give a body slam in exactly the same way.
Well, you got to think, this is before the internet. This is like, so wrestling, like, especially in the WWF, just seemed to, like, kind of grow from the same place. Mm-hmm. So it's a similar style of wrestling. So they probably all learned from the same person.
Yeah.
So it was literally just Killer Kowalski glaring at everybody behind the curtain that if they fuck this up, they're not eating tonight.
Probably.
Yeah.
Don Morocco was inducted in 2004 to the Hall of Fame by Mick Foley and was also the first winner of the King of the Ring tournament. 3 years later, Don would induct his manager here, Mr. Fuji, into the Hall of Fame. Mr. Fuji always gets great heat. I don't know that I've ever seen him as a babyface manager.
It's so great.
Fuji is billed from Japan. He's actually Hawaiian and is currently living in Tennessee.
Hot.
I got so many questions.
Yeah, I think Morocco is probably like the most famous for taking the Superfly splash.
Yeah.
That's the reason I hear Morocco's name.
In much the same way that Razor Ramon was famous for having once been in the ring while Shawn Michaels was wrestling a ladder.
That's just mean and uncalled for.
No, that's Ric Flair, and that's the fucking truth.
Yep.
Next, we have George the Animal Steel, Jesus Christ, versus Macho Man Savage with Miss Elizabeth, also in New York. We get our first Macho Man appearance at WrestleMania. An actual entrance for heel Savage. We get his promo cut in as he's disrobing.
Oh, shit.
Decent promo. It is Savage, but it's not very heelish. Just, tonight you'll know why I'm the best. You'll have to admit it, kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, this is fairly new off his debut from when he left Memphis and joined the WWF. Mm-hmm. So this is pretty new Macho Man we're seeing.
a more introspective, thoughtful Macho Man, Randy Savage.
Yes. Susan seems to be interested in the fact that Savage treats Elizabeth like dirt, and George is in love with her. Now, I'm going to try to not to go on a rant this time, but Macho was kind of always a dick to Elizabeth. Susan actually said he's got this gorgeous woman, and he treats her so bad. You shouldn't treat your significant other badly, regardless of how beautiful they are. And I will see this. There's no shortage of beautiful women in wrestling. Usually it's arm candy or whatever. Some of them are wrestlers. Some of them are just managers. For instance, Sunny comes to mind. Tammy Lynn Sitch. She, fucking beautiful, gorgeous woman. Always a manager, never a wrestler, but never arm candy. She has a character. She has a gimmick. She is devious. She is manipulative. She is such a bitch, and it's amazing.
Yep.
I remember being 13, and she would come out with bad guys, and I would be so mad at her. And then she'd look around at everybody and be like, you know you want me. And I'm like, fuck, I'm 13, and it's true.
And you're like, damn it, you're right.
But what is Elizabeth's thing? If you listen to like any of the... Elizabeth is somewhere on one of the like WWE countdown shows, and for like 5 minutes, all anybody can say is that she's beautiful, she's glamorous, she's she's pretty. We get it.
Yeah,
do you ever listen to her talk on the mic? She has like no charisma.
She's the worst.
She just kind of like goes, "Hi, I'm with the Macho Man."
Yeah, and it's so shitty that her entire gimmick was tied up into being pretty and also being with Macho Man.
Very true.
She had no gimmick.
They get over that she should date George the Animal Steel instead. Why?
Did he signal that he thought she was cute by leaving decapitated mice outside her door?
Possibly. Like, maybe it's because he's not an asshole. Holy shit. He's a nice guy.
Oh,
that's like, what it is.
Like, she had a line, if I remember correctly, it was along the lines of like, he may be dumb, but he treats women correctly.
He's fucking drooling on her like, pretty girl.
And it's like, well, obviously you should date George the Animal Steel, who could knit for you a festive cardigan from his own back hair.
Speaking of which, I do have a note here that says, "Fuck, he's a hairy motherfucker."
I just want to kind of stop here and give a little background on George the Animal Steele. One thing that wasn't necessarily known about Mr. Steele is that he was actually a high school gym teacher in Michigan.
Holy shit!
So that was he would teach in Michigan, and then for the summer he'd come out and wrestle for the WWF for just one shots.
Imagine this enormous man dogging you for going too slowly during gym class and just screaming at you.
I would say he's better than my high school gym teacher. That motherfucker should probably burn in hell.
Wow, there you go.
Well,
fuck that guy. Sorry, if you're the kind of piece of shit that feels it's okay to tell 15-year-old girls, "Hey, I'm part black. Guess which part?"
Oh,
then
God.
Wow, fucking worst piece of shit in the world. Somehow, I don't even remember your name, you piece of shit. But somehow, I hope you're listening. Fuck you.
Jail.
So Macho does great job of selling that he's kind of scared. He's running away from the spot, doing the runaway spot.
But before that, what's great actually is that the opening of the match when they're kind of trying to intimidate each other. I've noticed. Did you notice this about George the Animal Steele? His mannerisms are entirely abdomen and leg. He forgets that he has arms.
I did not notice that. That's a Ryan observation.
Oh, man, so at the opening of this match, there's the most brutal flower shots I've ever seen.
That is not the opening.
Is that I thought that was near the opening.
Dude, it's 6 minutes long, okay?
Oh, fair enough.
So I understand. But George starts blatantly biting the heel.
Yep.
He just starts biting Savage. Susan and Vince cheer him on as he's not disqualified. What the fuck is wrestling?
No one knows.
It was basically Calvin Ball during this period.
Yeah.
Well, it still is.
Yeah.
Steele goes over to be fat at Elizabeth.
Sure.
For some reason, he gets tangled in the rope. Every time he farts at Macho Man does 30 backflips. He bumps like a motherfucking boss. He gets thrown out of the ring 800 times. He crawls under the ring. He comes out of the other side and attacks Steele. Holy shit!
And honestly, I mark the fuck out for Macho Man Randy Savage. Especially as compared with so many of these other chuckleheads, as soon as I see a promo and I see that beautiful grizzled weird ass mug show up on my TV, I get so excited.
Right? George samples other parts of Macho's anatomy, biting the arm. The fucking ref starts counting to 5 like it's a hold.
It basically is.
And actually, during the bites,
Oh
I remember I typed in all caps, "Who is the heel in this match?"
Exactly. Wait for the main event. That'll come back.
Yeah, there you go.
Where is the DQ? What the fuck? Macho gets a bouquet of flowers, the most vicious weapon of all, and hits the animal with them for some reason. Animal bites him again.
He basically no-sells the flower shot and then
That's
just starts
intense.
Going nuts on Macho Man.
And Macho sells the flowers. Macho Man sells being hit with a fucking tulip.
It had shades of Rock and Mankind with the chair.
Amazing.
Rumble.
Just if he had bladed for the flowers, I would have turned this off and canceled.
If there was just if there was just a secret gig nestled in the tulips, and then
So they chase each other on the outside, and then Steele runs around the corner, and Elizabeth is there, and then because the commentator's reminding us he's an idiot, he starts asking for a hug from Elizabeth mid-match, I guess.
Sure.
Macho does an axe handle from the top rope to the outside.
Oh, so that's the origins for Eugene.
And I'd like to point out here,
yes.
the great thing about George Steele hitting on her during during that part of the match, I noticed. Did you notice that there was a fair amount of popcorn lodged in his back hair?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was not so much popcorn as it was when the Steele's famous spot
Where he starts eating the
turnbuckle.
Oh, right.
Yeah, stuffing from that.
That's it. We're gonna get there in a moment. We get a nice body slam from Macho. He delivers his top rope elbow drop. Animal kicks out of that. He kicks out of the finisher.
Oh my god.
Okay. He kicks out of the finisher. I get it. Okay, fine. Macho Man bumps around a little bit, but then he puts his feet up on the rope and gives him a sexy pin.
Oh shit.
And gets the 3 count. So George Animal Steele can kick out of a finishing move, but a sexy pin's a little bit too much.
It is. He can't deal with it.
Since we got an illegal pin, I'm waiting for Tito Santana to come out again. Maybe set things correct. But this is the dumbest fucking booking.
Like during this match, I feel like somebody could have pulled out a gun and shot the other guy. No DQ. Perfectly fine.
Yeah, this was fucking CZW all over.
Yeah.
Especially the flowers.
Okay, I'm blanking from memory because I lost my notes because it's been a while. Someone at some point mentions how the ref has lost control. It was either this match or the tag match where there was just the ref was basically ineffectual.
The tag match, but the refs is I don't even know why there is one here.
The important thing is that we have Gorilla Monsoon to remind us that there should be 2 referees in the ring for any given tag match.
It is in fact a happening. Ryan, give us your thoughts on this.
Oh fuck me! I gave it a 2 out of 5, purely because in terms of a story match, I would never want to hear this story from anyone. This it was the most confused clusterfuck. Most of it was Macho Man running away and doing cartwheels in hell, and then George the Animal Steel, and then biting into the turnbuckle and eating the turn. I think that was how he consoled himself for losing the match.
Well, that's George's the Animal Steel's thing, though.
Yeah, right.
He eats the turnbuckle. When he consoles himself at the end, though, when he starts biting it, it looks like he is actually making out with it in the most tender. That is straight up porn.
We are watching a tender moment between a man and a turnbuckle.
It's true.
So yeah, I gave it a 2 out of 5 purely because there was so little actual fucking wrestling during that match.
Okay, Scooter.
I gave this match a 2 out of 5. I really wanted to give it a 3 because it's Macho Man. He bumps like a madman, but I have a good conscience. I just can't.
I am going to completely agree with you, Scooter. Very high 2, purely because of Macho Man.
Yep.
Match lasts 5 minutes, 51 seconds. Moving on with our lives.
There's so many matches. I forget how many matches there are in this thing.
And actually, side note here, I also wrote in my notes, George the Animal Steel could not sell an inner tube to a drowning man.
It's very true. He's right up there with
somebody.
With fucking Goldberg. Mean Gene with Bill Fralick, and Big John Studd. John fucking screams at him. Why the hell is a football player trying to wrestle? What a very good question.
And so say we all.
This is a good question, one we will ask ourselves again at WrestleMania 10. We get George Wells versus Jake Roberts.
And actually, side note before we jump to that, I'd like to point out 2 different quotes during that promo with the football player as they tenderly rubbed nipples on camera. One of them was, "I'm going to get a hold of the stud here." And then him replying with, "You're playing with John Studd." And I would love to start a blog called Gay Porn or 80s Wrestling, where...
That's pretty good.
Where I think we'll just include that.
Yeah.
So my favorite part is Gene Okerlund looking like, oh my god, these guys need to hurry up because he's constantly looking off camera because they're on very strict time constraints. So he's like, oh, these guys need to, trying to cut him off, but they just won't have it. It's like, John says, I got to tear up this football. This is important.
That is important.
Oh my god.
George Wells versus Jake Roberts. George Wells is introduced and the crowd goes mild. Jake is introduced and the crowd stays mild.
Yep.
I thought this guy, George Wells, was not I just called him not Virgil because that's who he looked like to me.
However, he did have an ounce of charisma, so better than Virgil.
There you go.
The 2 exchange hits in the most exciting opening sequence we've seen thus far in all of WrestleMania.
It's actually like, oh my gosh, wrestling moves.
Man, and honestly, Jake the Snake Roberts can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
at this point.
No, I mean, okay, my thing is yes, but for a guy with a pot belly and tiny legs, his ring psychology is always great. He always does exactly what he's supposed to do at every point of the match. It's great.
He's a master of it.
Jake, like Macho, really bumps like a king. George gets a great head scissors over. Jake asks for a timeout. You know what? I love that spot. We don't see it anymore. I love that spot. When the heel's timeout. No. My dad... I used to watch wrestling with my dad. My dad is the biggest mark in the world.
It's beautiful.
Ryan's knowing because he knows. But every time that a heel would be like, timeout, my dad would be like, is this fucking idiot asking for a timeout?
I feel like your dad marking out to wrestling is like angels singing and children laughing. It's beautiful.
Okay, so the big thing was whenever somebody would cheat, and the ref wouldn't see it or anything like that, Or maybe like somebody would keep attacking somebody after the match. During all the confusion, the commentator screaming and then ringing the bell a million times, my dad would start screaming, 90-day suspension, $50,000 fine.
And so,
like,
I imagine this is probably at the Nashville Fairgrounds where these guys are probably getting $10 a match.
I mean, everything. And no matter what federation it was always a $50,000.
And what I take away from this is that your father is literally Hank Hill.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Love you, Dad. So,
also another note here I'd like to point out. Did anybody else realize that Jake the Snake's tights looked exactly like a wild berry Pop-Tart? No?
I suppose. I thought they looked pretty cool, though. Like, it was just the twin snakes going around, meeting at his dick.
Is that what those were?
It did not.
Yeah.
I did not, but thank you for that. Jake fucking Michaels sells a headbutt, ends up with his feet on the top rope. That's like The Rock selling a stunner.
Yeah, where he just like flips backwards and ends with his feet on the ropes.
You do like a somersault.
The cartoon snake that's in teal over a burgundy back. Thank you, 80s. But Jake hits the DDT and slithers on top of George for the 3. That's the second sexy pin we've had in 3 matches. I actually really think the DDT gets over here. The crowd doesn't really react to here. He didn't need much offense throughout the match because once he hits it, it's over. He's really getting over that move. But here in a few months, here in like another year, though, this move is going to be fucking insane.
And honestly,
like,
oh god,
Scooter.
My favorite thing about the DDT is someone asked Jake what it stood for, and all Jake said in response is the end. It's like that's
holy shit.
And then it's like, hey, Randy Orton, what does RKO stand for? I kick you in the head.
The skull.
Randy Keith Orton.
Yeah, I know, but oh god, no. But the other thing that I realized is that match was quick, but it was tighter than a nun's asshole. It was.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it was incredible.
It was a match.
Jake immediately grabs the bag. And the python comes out, gets wrapped around George Wells. He threatens to throw the snake in the audience.
Yep.
Love it. Vince mentions that Jake is undefeated thus far. And I agree with you, what we're saying, Ryan. Go ahead and finish your thoughts on the match. Give us your rating.
Also I'd like to point out, I was legitimately uncomfortable when George Wells started kind of vomiting because Damien the Snake was wrapped around his neck. Like, I'm just kind of sitting there going like, oh god, can this maybe not happen on, oh god. But I gave it 3 out of 5 purely because, like, with Jake the Snake Roberts, again, he sells like a boss. George Wells even had a bit of charisma. Like, it was such a, and honestly, it was a mercifully quick match. Because I feel like these two guys, I don't think both of them could sustain, for example, like a 15-minute match.
Right.
But yeah, no, it did exactly what it needed to do. It was it was a very, like, just meat and potatoes, very quick match.
All right. I'm kind of like how do I put this? This match is kind of like a diamond among a bunch of bullshit. So, like, I want to kind of rate this a little higher than probably it's worth. So I got to go with I know we don't do decimals here, but this is basically Calvin Ball.
Yeah.
So I got to give this a 3.95. Just because by any kind of other standard, it's a 3, but amongst this, it's a 4.
Right.
So so I have to go with a 3.
Just for the surrounding contrast of just bullshit.
Yeah.
I definitely gave this one a 4. Short match. It is 4 minutes and 39 seconds, but it definitely gets over the devastation of the DDT and Jake's character. Very impressed. 2 worked well together. If it would have gone a little bit longer, maybe had a few more spots, we could have seen it.
And the other great thing with Susan St. James is she's kind of, again, she's your drunk and verbally berating you. And I love that she at one point said, like, "Oh, put that thing back where it came from," in reference to the snake.
Yeah,
it was God.
Are we going to see the snake? Is he going to pull out the snake?
Yeah, it was. Oh God, it was beautiful.
We get a promo package for Mr. T and Piper. It's our first video package ever. Sets up a decent rivalry between the two. It shows that Piper's a dick, and that's all. Then we cut back to Hogan. Ventura mentions the injured ribs, Bundy's size, and the steel cage. Very succinct.
A very fabulous Ventura, I might have to say.
Yes.
And then also I noticed that they kind of were giving Jesse the Body Ventura a weird push during his interview with Hogan, where he's like, and you, Jesse the Body Ventura, also you are a bad man. And I'm wondering here how Jesse Ventura looks straight up like a motherfucking Muppet, and I'm wondering how much his puppeteers got paid to animate his fucking face.
Well, I love it. It's like some dudes just like Hogan's like some dudes like to take the easy way out, just like you, Ventura.
Yeah.
And Ventura's like, nice guys are stupid.
Yeah, like that's my favorite line of the whole thing. Is just like, I just hope to see that sometimes nice guys don't like to finish last.
That little laugh,
Hogan,
it's great because no part of him moves but his mandible. It's just
Hogan gets over how even though he's injured, he's fighting for America and all the little Hulksters.
All the little Hulksters.
Fuck you, Hogan.
Ugh.
God damn it.
Finkel introduces the guest ring announcer, and at the words guest ring announcer, I start crying. Then he completes the sentence by saying Joan Rivers, and I cry harder.
And then Joan Rivers, who was, of course, cosplaying the church lady from Saturday Night Live.
Well, the thing is, it's kind of a step up above the last year's
Bill
guest
Martin
announcer,
or whatever.
just because she's a TV personality, not
That's
a
true.
baseball coach.
Right.
Joan introduces our guest judges. Wait, judges? Wait, okay, I guess we're ready for the boxing match.
Oh my god!
Fucking feedback all over the place. Our guest judges are Cap Calloway, no relation to The Undertaker. G. Gordon Liddy, you know, the guy that helped organize
He came back. I missed
Watergate
that.
Watergate burglaries.
Killed people for the government.
Our
And
guest-
by the way, side note, I love here that at one point in the match somebody says that they're disappointed in G. Gordon Liddy for not maintaining order. I'm like, look, we were all disappointed with G. Gordon Liddy that day.
Oh, you mean at WrestleMania? We get a guest timekeeper. I'm sorry, it's not Liberace, but it's Herb. Who?
Which, yeah.
Herb was a character from Burger King commercials. Herb had never eaten a Burger King burger in his life, and fans were supposed to find him. It flopped really hard. They were made to bolster BK sales after Wendy's had seen big success with their Where's the Beef commercials. Keep that in mind. Just keep that part in mind.
Right.
Then we get the boxing match. It is a 10-round boxing match. At this place, I purchased a gun and put it under my chin.
I was praying for the sweet release of death throughout this entire clusterfuck.
It's a boxing exposition in the middle of a wrestling event, not featuring two boxers.
Right.
Mr. T does not have a real boxing background. He played a boxer in a movie. He's actually an amateur wrestler. I don't know why they couldn't have a wrestling match.
You know what? It would have been way better than the match from last year. Piper gets no entrance music. Huge letdown after last year. Bob Orton is with them. Mr. T, also no introduction. Piper gets introduced after Mr. T's already on his way down to the ring.
But shout out to the Gracie train that had going. Mr. T had going with everybody.
Right.
Vince covers for it. You can hear his butthole clenching up. Can you imagine something like this happening on WrestleMania 30?
Oh, my
So,
God.
like, Mr. T's coming down to the ring, like Randy Orton's coming down to the ring, and they're just announcing John Cena or something.
Yeah, and then also during this match, I noticed that. So of course, Susan St. James is not a wrestling commentator, and neither really is Vince. And then you realize, not only, I mean, like, however bad you think these guys are, like the two of them are at calling a wrestling match, they don't know shit about boxing, and they don't know how to actually describe what's going on.
Actually, like Vince actually does his grandfather was a boxing promoter, and he actually
Good, get him.
Vince calls the boxing match better than he does the wrestling match, just because he seems to have a bit more knowledge than
And now I'm bringing out my grandfather.
I just got to disagree with you on his Vince's boxing call.
I like that while the referee is trying to explain everything to them, Piper never stops flapping his fucking guns. He's screaming at T the entire time.
And
loved it.
honestly, I feel like if we could harness Rowdy Roddy Piper's mic skills, we could use it as a source of clean energy. It would be beautiful.
It would not be clean.
No, it would be utterly
slightly
filthy.
racist.
Slightly
Vince
racist,
gets Vince gets over the reach advantage of Piper like it's a real match. Piper's flannel patterned boxing shorts destroyed me.
I missed the Panther though. The Panther was amazing.
The Panther shirt was amazing.
No, the Panther,
Susan again has no fucking idea what she's supposed to be saying
or where she is, and it's great. No, honestly, again, it's such a great contrast to me of Jesse Ventura incorrectly describing wrestling moves.
I don't know anything about boxing at all. It's still clear that Mr. T has more training in boxing because he was in like a movie.
Rocky 3.
Yeah.
He's trained far more than Piper. Piper still manages to be a heel. Vince gives, I think, my favorite line. He says, "This is a very brawling type matchup here."
I swear to God. Sweet baby Jesus.
It's a boxing match, you fucking idiot.
It's like, yeah, if this is a boxing match, why isn't he elbow dropping him from the turnbuckle?
This is a very brawling...
I mean, like, I don't know. It's
There's
not much you could say about it. It's just too it's a boxing match that's rigged.
See, I disagree. I got quite a few things to say here.
I got some many things.
Round 2. There is a salve on Roddy's face that supposedly will make the gloves slide right off. Is that how that works?
Actually,
to
yes.
exchange a few shots, Mr. T goes down in round 2. Roddy pushes him with his foot. Sounds like there's a Roddy chant going towards the end of the round. As the bell goes off to the end of the round, Roddy hits T while he's down. Beautiful.
As you do. Not in boxing. That would get you suspended and kicked out of every...
90 days suspension.
50.
You will be banned from every legitimate boxing organization for doing that.
Great.
Yeah.
While they're in their separate corner, Bob Orton throws water on Mr. T. I love it.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Mr. T beats on Piper, knocks him down in round 3. Beats on him a few more times. Susan gets her only semi-funny line in for the night. Maybe he thinks it's the minute break as Piper is sitting on his ass.
Ha 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 ha.
Look, it was 5 out of 5. Would laugh. T knocks Piper down and out of the ring. The ref starts counting. Is this a knockdown or a count out? How does that work in boxing?
I've watched quite a bit of boxing in my time. I've never seen someone get hit so hard they fall out of the ring.
Right.
Well, they need to sell it better.
Well, yeah, they just need to learn how to sell. Yeah,
That's my problem with boxing. Is people only sell like once a match.
Well, yeah, like watching boxing in a wrestling setting, it's like trying to use like Logic Pro for Mac on Windows, and it's just fucking incompatible and it doesn't work.
It's true. Roddy Piper throws the stool at T. Again, no disqualification. The crowd gets a bit more into it at the outset of round 4. Mr. T's mouth guard goes flying. Piper shoves the ref and body slams T to get one of the most famous WrestleMania moments. And at that point, he finally gets disqualified. I'm surprised he didn't have to knife the ref's fucking kidney. Susan says, he was asking for it. It's about the time the referee gives him what he deserves. Yes. Yes,
Correct.
it is. Vince forgets how to pronounce melee as it disintegrates into an actual brawling type matchup. Vince forgets what's going on. He tries to defend Piper, saying maybe he was dazed and went back to his wrestling skills.
I didn't realize Vince was a heel announcer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good God. And then also, I don't know, like this entire, during all of this, I realized that I had started losing childhood memories. I thought I was never going to smile again. Oh God, it was so bad.
Tell us. What did you rank it though?
I gave it a 0.5 out of 5.
No, fuck off. Give us an integer, you motherfucker.
Listen. If fucking Calvin over here can give me, I can give.
So
it
what you're saying is, this was less entertaining than Andre and Big John Stud last year.
Well,
So
okay.
a 1.
The thing
Gotcha.
Is, I don't. Yeah, well, no. The thing I wrote 1 out of 5 if we consider this fucking rateable.
Okay. That's good. Scooter?
I'm going to have to give this a 2 out of 5 just because of Piper's antics and his corner's antics throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant heel work.
Again, I'm going to have to give this one a 2. I enjoyed it even though I knew the ending. It's all because of Piper. He's amazing. He's not a very good wrestler.
No.
But that motherfucker can tell an amazing story.
Yeah, just like
I just wish this was not 11 minutes 56 seconds. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And like Piper is a delight to watch in general. But I could watch Roddy Piper read the phone book. That doesn't make it a riveting thing to read.
Roddy Piper should have been a manager. I think he missed his calling.
I would agree.
He probably would have been a better manager than a wrestler.
We cut to Chicago. Gorilla Monsoon and Mean Motherfucking Gene.
Oh, shit!
We get a battle royal with 14 wrestlers and 6 football players.
I think you got the order wrong there, buddy, because I think the ladies' championship was first.
Yeah, Velvet McIntyre versus Fabulous Moolah.
Well, I'll be damned. I don't know how that happened. So the lady... Oh, no. They start talking about a battle royal. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're talking about it. Kathy Lee Crosby is going to be on color commentary with Monsoon. She mentions it is her first in-person match. Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
I did not know who she was. I went ahead and looked her up. At this time, Kathy Lee Crosby, beautiful woman. Would you say so, Ryan?
Absolutely.
She is 41 years old at this time.
Wow.
I'm 30 and I look like a hefty sack full of meat.
Yeah, I'm 27 and I look like a refugee.
Scooter just looks like Scooter.
Right, yeah.
You know, as you do.
I feel a bit of kinship with CM Punk with the, well, I look like I sell some great meth.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about this little promo is she's like, well, before I had to give it to the I was rooting for the footballers, and then when I got here, I saw size the wrestlers. I have to go with them now. Good job, you fickle bitch.
Oh my god.
We cut to the ladies' championship match.
Oh God.
Sorry, I forgot to read something about the. I received a text from Ryan, who said about the boxing match. Shit, I had it. Where was it, buddy?
Oh no,
It was amazing.
Oh no, what did I say?
you don't even remember
The boxing match in WrestleMania 2 is unwatchable, which is very true. Ladies' championship match between Velvet McIntyre versus the Fabulous Moolah. Holy
God.
shit!
I was so mad.
Velvet's hair.
Fuck you, Moolah.
Before
I
we
was
get into
so
it,
mad.
Before we get into it, what happened to the championship since last WrestleMania, where Wendy Richter won it from Leilani Kai? Both kind of hot.
Yeah.
November of 1985, Wendy Richter was booked to wrestle a masked opponent known as the Spider Lady. During the match, Spider Lady pinned Richter's shoulders to the mat. The ref did a very quick count and called for the bell, despite Richter very clearly kicking out after one.
Screw job.
Richter continued attacking the Spider Lady, and pulled off the mask to reveal it was actually the Fabulous Moolah. She was actually legitimately incensed, left the arena in her wrestling attire, hopped in a cab, booked it to the airport, and never spoke to Moolah again.
Good.
Moolah, the ref, and Vinnie Mac were in on the plan, but Richter was not. This is actually the original Screwjob.
Yep.
Moolah is famous for this.
Yeah, and honestly, and I think I texted Marty something earlier that I should probably be kind of ashamed of.
Let me find it, Scooter,
Can I just rant on Moolah?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
Oh my god, this woman. This
Jeez.
woman is a dusty bag of bones. And she's going over women like maybe, I don't know the ages, but clearly that she has no business going over because she always made sure she was at the top. She's worse than Hogan because she used to like prostitute these ladies back in the day and would just do miserable, terrible stuff to them. And it makes me sick every time she's like trotted out like in a video. It's like, oh, Moolah is the greatest women's champion. It's like, no, oh my god, no, she wasn't.
The text that I received from Ryan earlier
there we go.
was, I'm so glad Fabulous Moolah is dead. And I responded with, Jesus Christ, Ryan! But yeah.
Fuck her.
Yeah, no, and honestly, and not only would she like pimp out the women who were like at her wrestling school, it was against their fucking will. She extorted them for money. She verbally and physically abused the women that were at her school. And like, if you get Luna Vachon talking about knowing Fabulous Moolah, like she is a vile, evil harpy in real life. And honestly, like, and I was so mad watching this match just because, like, again, we make fun of John Cena for having 5 moves. Fabulous Moolah, snapmare, clothesline, splash, pin. That's it.
Yeah. This is apparently this whole screw job was because Richter had refused to sign a new contract. Richter says she was still under her original 5-year contract. Her and Vince often had disagreements on her pay. Fuck you, Vince McMahon.
Thus, give it to Fabulous Moolah.
Moolah at this point was 62 years old in the ring.
I knew she looked like a dusty bag of bones.
I did notice that the timekeeper versus last year has calmed the fuck down.
Well, see, this is in Chicago, not MSG, so...
Moolah gets very aggressive. She goes through her triple snapmare takeovers, which of course is kind of like the 3 German suplexes, but 3 snapmares because it's all
Why
she
not?
can do. Velvet is barefoot. Why? She misses a Brett's rope body splash and falls to Moolah. Very short match.
Can I just point out that it's very clear in one of the camera shots that her foot goes up on the rope at 1, and
Yes.
the ref kind of but the camera zooms in real quick to the ref, so you can't see it.
Yeah.
So in a very screw jobby-ish finish again.
Yeah.
Very short match. I really would have liked to see this one go on longer.
And
No, I wouldn't.
and like Fabulous Moolah needed the push.
Yeah. Huge round of boos for Moolah, who stomps on Velvet because, she's the heel.
Really, it almost looked legit too. How hard she stomps on her.
I think she was stiffing her.
I apparently spoke too soon on the timekeeper because motherfucker goes nuts. Gorilla Monsoon wonders aloud if this match is some sort of record length. I attempt to reach through this TV and strangle him.
Yep.
It was not a record. It was not a record last year with King Kong Bundy.
With the squash match with
Oh yeah.
The ring announcer that they have here sounds so fucking bored and manages to mispronounce Moolah twice.
He seems like he wants to be anywhere else but that arena at that moment.
As would we all.
We get told that the winner of the next match will get to raise his colors high. A flag match between Nikolai Volkov with Classy Freddie Blassie versus Corporal Kirchner.
Who?
And at that point, I remember we didn't give our ratings. Let's keep this succinct. Ryan.
1 out of 5. Fuck it.
Scooter.
Fuck it.
I would give that a 0, but 1 out of 5.
I'm going to give that a 1 out of 5. Fuck you.
And honestly,
I don't care that you're dead.
And maybe right. No, I'm glad she's dead. And honestly, what I thought was funny with that, if you think about it, they were great at making me mark out because I legitimately had to go and have a cigarette after I watched that because
How much you hated it.
I was so mad. It was.
I don't hate your gimmick. I hate you.
No, yeah. There was actual X-Pac heat for actually hating the person and not
A
their character.
62-year-old woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck that 62.
It's like, it's not often that I want to push a 62-year-old woman down the stairs, but Lord help
Fuck,
me.
if I could hit her with a car, God help me.
Oh yeah.
So we get our flag match. Nikolai Volkov versus Corporal Kirchner.
I was asking myself where Sergeant Slaughter was, but I guess he had a
Sergeant
day
Slaughter
off.
Light.
Nikolai Volkov, who sings like an angel.
WrestleMania gives us our annual stupid fucking gimmick match, right up there with last year's Body Slam match.
Yeah.
Both are waving the flag before the match begins.
Anyways.
So like,
Nikolai, as you mentioned, sings like an angel, gets over his USSR anthem. The fact that he asked the crowd to be silent for it. Crowd goes ape shit. Before he gets started, some fan screams out, "Kill the Russian."
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
Oh,
Thank you, 1986.
And he has the best look of like Nikolai Volkov has the best look
He's
of
so confused.
of surprise and confusion as he gets booed. Like his eyes
Why are
keep
they
darting
mad
around.
for
Like,
me?
why are they booing me?
I just love my country so much.
He's cut off, though, by the entrance music for Corporal Kirchner,
Who?
which on the WWE Network is a very standard Stars and Stripes ripoff. His actual music, not much different.
I assume that his theme music was "Wet Fart" for timpani and trumpet.
That is actually the name.
Yeah.
He gets a decent pop.
I
That
think
is
it's 'cause
all
he's carrying
because
the
of
flag.
Volkov and Blassie and the Stars and Stripes. We get a USA chant. Fuck yeah. Where's Duggan? Nikolai starts off with a friggin' spinning crescent kick.
Yeah.
Because fuck yeah.
Man, and normally I would be tempted to call him a spot monkey for that, but no, that was beautiful.
So sorry, everybody, both of you listening out there. The women's match was 4 minutes, 17 seconds. All right. We get a good shot of the bright red mats outside as Nikolai bites Kirchner. Because, again, bites completely legal.
Totally
Thank
legal.
you.
Yep.
Kirchner bleeds faster than anyone ever.
There's
busted
got to
open.
be like a Ric Flair award for bleeding very, very
Who can
easily.
bleed the hardest and the fastest.
Right.
I wonder if Ric Flair just stumbles around at home and stubs his toe and screams, and his kids are like, "Are you okay?" And he
Crimson
looks at him,
mask!
blood dripping from his face. Kirchner's busted open. Ref bumps long enough for Blassie to throw in his cane, which Kirchner catches instead, pops the Russian, and the ref wakes up right after. Kirchner can win the Cold War.
That's almost like Brock versus Boss Man.
That's almost like every match.
Yeah, and honestly, like, the entire point of this match was America, and it was a joke.
Monsoon refers to this as a double cross that backfired. Monsoon does not understand the English language.
What? What?
I just want to point out at this time, I didn't really keep count, but last year he had the "It's a Happening" line. He seems to have added adjectives to this and said it's a adjective happening, and as opposed to just saying it's a happening.
Oh my god!
It was like 3 or 4 times I heard
It's a double
that.
cross happening.
And you know, and honestly, side note with that, it's funny because, again, like, I think we all grew up with Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross as our commentary duo, yeah?
Yeah.
And I think I used to think that...
I was Bobby Heenan and Tony Schiavone, so get fucked.
Oh, so there you go, you big hipster. And so, as I look back at Attitude Era stuff, I'm largely just kind of going, oh god, fucking Jerry Lawler. But then I listened to Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura, and I'm instantly nostalgic for Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross.
Well, see, I'm nostalgic a little bit for the Bobby Heenan Gorilla Monsoon duo, because I think that was
we will get to that in a few episodes. Mm-hmm. Bobby Heenan's amazing.
Oh, he's amazing.
He brought the best out of Gorilla Monsoon.
We always talk about, everybody always talks about how amazing the Attitude Era is, and there's some amazing matches in the Attitude Era, some amazing moments. People forget about shit like Test
or the oddities. Kurgan.
Jesus. So, Kirchner is the winner, and he may display his colors. He does so for 2.3 seconds and marches to the back with it.
Furious pointing, though. He was like, "You!"
Because of this... I'm so sorry, guys. I've been giving the wrong times. Wow. Don Morocco and Orndorff, 3 minutes, 17 seconds. Steel and Macho, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. George Wells and Jake was 3 minutes. Piper versus Mr. T was 13 fucking minutes.
God help me.
The women's match was 59 seconds. Sorry, I've been giving the amount of time between the matches. Nikolai and Kirchner was 1 minute, 36 seconds. And we get a replay for it.
Of the match.
Thanks for that. I forgot what had happened since the beginning of this fucking Iron Man.
I swear to God.
This fucking Iditarod of human competition.
The triumph of the human will. And actually, and it's funny because this is the now, I think, 3rd or 4th match I've given a 1 out of 5 to. No, yeah, this, wait.
You're
a negative Nancy.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Scooter.
Yeah, I gave it a 1 out of 5. Fuck this match.
I give it a 2 because of Nikolai's heat, because I love him.
Also because Nikolai Volkov, he's amazing. I love him.
You're right, though. He's like, why is everybody booing? I'm singing so...
He sells it so well.
The Mr. Sleepy Man goes ahead and puts Mean Gene back on the mic to announce one of the main events, thank God. The Battle Royal. Gene gets over the rules. You are thrown over the top rope and onto the floor. None of that both feet bullshit.
Yeah, none of that.
To come in. That'll be 1995.
Yeah.
The guest timekeeper, Clara Pellar, who looks to be older than time itself, gets a camera shoved in her face and spazzes out with a microphone.
You can see her mouth wears the beef as she waves the microphone in an ungainly wave over her head.
She forgets to ring the bell at the beginning. Thank you.
Couldn't we have?
She's known for the "Where's the beef?" and is 83 years old.
Couldn't we have had a squash match between her and Herb?
No,
I would have liked to see that.
I wouldn't.
Dick Butkus is introduced.
His name is Dick Butkus.
No one laughs at his name except the three of us.
Lord, no. Actually, by the way, my friend Jacob Wittenberg once posted on Facebook, like, if you think I'm dead and you're not sure, whisper Dick Butkus in my ear, and if I am not apoplectic with laughter, I am probably dead.
The guest referee, Ed Too Tall Jones, is introduced. Why is there a guest referee at a battle royal, you might wonder? Well, this is the one match where you might need an outside referee. I wonder if he was trained by Muhammad Ali.
I think he was.
So, let's go over the people in here. Jumbo Covert. Who? Pedro Morales.
Yeah, Pedro. What's up?
Oh yeah, Pedro.
Tony Atlas. Roids.
Dude, Tony Atlas,
Ted
which, by the way,
Arcidi.
side note here, Tony Atlas is built like a brick shit house.
Roy.
Yeah. No, he comes out and you're just like, this is not... He's not from this planet. I don't know how he got that.
the strongest man in the world, Ted Arcidi, who, by the way, A, looks like a powerlifter, and B, is legitimately the world record holder of the bench press record at this time, over 700 pounds.
Yep.
Harvey Martin, Danny Spivey, Hillbilly Jim, who's apparently
on behalf of Christ,
super
Hillbilly
over.
Jim.
He's super jacked, too.
King Tonga. Hey, it's Ming.
Fuck yeah, Ming.
The Iron Sheik,
Yes.
who gets amazing heat just for existing.
No, and it's great because you hear them say from Tehran, Iran, and then just...
And you cannot hear his name.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I love it.
His mustache has more heel potential than half the wrestlers. Ernie Holmes, both Killer Bees. Big John Studd, who gets quarter of the heat that Sheik did. Bill Fralick, Bret Hart, fuck yeah. And Jim Neidhart. Bret is wearing real sunglasses. It's his first WrestleMania.
Yeah, it weirded me out because I didn't recognize him and then realized he wasn't wearing the fucking wraparounds.
Russ Francis, Bruno Sammartino.
Not David Sammartino.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
Crazy pop for the Chicago Bears, William, the Refrigerator Perry, and finally, Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
The ring at this point looks like it is going to fucking implode. Andre's nuclear yellow tights are beautiful.
It's incredible. And actually, the Killer Bees...
spins.
And I'd like to point out, you're familiar, of course, with the seminal Christian metal band Stryper.
No.
Oh, Jesus, Scooter, Google it, and then...
I'm not gonna.
And then probably have a drink. When they said, the Killer Bees, and then these fucking guys come out in their stripy trunks, I immediately was like, Death, take me now, please. I can't do this.
Andre spends the entirety of this match resting on the ropes. Monsoon mentions that the wrestlers weigh a combined 5,612 pounds. That's actually kind of an awesome fact. Thank you, Monsoon.
Thank you for that.
Well, at some point, Ernie Ladd thinks, he's like, I wonder how, he's like the most expensive men, gathered in one place. And it's kind of, they are football players, and there's $1 million contracts in there. I would like to know that figure, what the worth of everyone in the ring was.
That would be a better question. Covert and Tonga are the first two that get fucked out. Ernie gets thrown out next. Jim of the Killer Bees is the fifth out as the camera misses it entirely. Tony Atlas is the sixth gone. Pedro Morales and Harvey Martin are out next. Arcidi, Danny Spivey, Hillbilly Jim, Brian of the Bees, and the match absolutely has no spots. Pitch, punch, kick, headbutt. Boring. Fralick gets out, followed by Sheik and Sammartino. The only spot of the match. Refrigerator tackles Studd, then fucks up the spot where he should go out, and they have to repeat it. Studd takes him over. Perry offers him a handshake and pulls him over, which is a heel move. This is the first time this will show up on a WWF pay-per-view, but definitely not the last. I was watching a Royal Rumble, I think from 2002, with my girlfriend, and there's a bunch of spots where someone gets eliminated. They walk back into the ring and then eliminate someone.
Ruthless aggression.
Thank you, John Cena. I get that the point is however you go over the top, it doesn't matter. But if this were supposed to be a real sport, and I think we're pretending that it is, then...
Yeah, Lord help us, we haven't devolved into complete fucking nihilism yet.
Why would you do that? Why can't you just say, okay, you know what? Big John Studd, go ahead and get your happy ass back in the ring. Because
that didn't count.
This dude that was not in the match effectively pinned you. Yeah. Unbelievable. I hate this spot. Crowd goes nuts for it, though, so that's what matters. Andre does his tied up in the road spot after a double drop kick from the Hart Foundation. Rush is thrown out. Crowd chants for Andre. Andre gives a big boot as Bret runs into it. Looks like Hart's face falls under Andre's boot. Oh my god. Anvil is tossed out.
He sold it hard, though.
And it is down to Bret and Andre. Bret goes to the top rope. Why the fuck would you ever do that in a Battle Royal? And then he manages to both hold Bret over his head and still hold on to the ropes for support.
Yeah.
He throws him out onto Anvil. Andre wins. Who gives a shit? They get the other ring announcer who narcolepsies his way through announcing Andre as the winner. Ryan.
How many people were in the Battle Royal?
20.
Yeah, we watched 20 guys aggressively snuggle each other, and then Andre the Giant dropped Bret Hart.
This
is now the 5th match that I have given a 1 out of 5 to, and which, by the way, I'd like to point out here. I started watching WrestleMania 2 about 2 weeks ago, and stopped watching around this point for 2 weeks because I couldn't deal with how much I hated myself. And then only finished the rest of it earlier today because it's such a swamp. It's so bad.
I would agree.
I'm such a masochist. I've watched it twice.
Good God, man.
Me too.
Oh,
I watched it twice. It's terrible. Scooter, what would you give this one?
I give this one a 2 out of 5 because I like the ending with just the Hart Foundation. Or are they called the Hart Foundation at this point?
I don't think so.
Well, anyways, the Neidhart and Bret Hart doing their thing with Andre because and Bret's bumping was amazing. So there you go.
I received a text from Ryan last night. I just got past the Battle Royal. I am praying for death. This is 9 minutes and 12 seconds. This is the longest match of Andre's career, I think. And he is fucking showing it because he's just after the match.
And I feel...
I mean, fuck it, I would be
It makes
too.
me so sad, like, watching Andre suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It is sad.
It is sad.
We get a... Piper has a chat with Vince. Piper says he was confused. He was trying to fight. And then he starts hitting on Susan.
I just love this. He's sitting there. I'll maybe try to do like a Piper impression. It's like, T and Perry must be cut from the same cloth. I saw the way he pulled Stud over. The cheaters. And T with his bristly hair scratching out my eyes.
Bristly hair and my
There's just like that line was just like, what's going on?
Let's pretend that line didn't happen and just say it was an amazing show.
Right. No, yeah, and that's the bit is like there are bits of that I'm like, this is getting really fucking racist. And then it would
I don't have to cut my hair like an Indian
Ooh.
or dye my skin black. It's like, whoa.
So yeah.
and he sounds
I didn't say
he
it.
sounds for all the world like a methed out Lucky Charms leprechaun, and it is the greatest.
That is exactly
It
what
is
it
the
is.
greatest thing I've ever seen. I love Rowdy Piper promos.
I did not say it directly, but I guess everybody can probably guess. I also thought that Battle Royal was horrendous shit. It was definitely a 1. We go back to Gene with Jimbo. Promo with the Sheik as usual. I am the best. Football suck and number 1. At this point, Mr. Sheik brings us to our Iron Sheik Twitter update.
Yes. All right.
We have a lovely one from Wednesday, July 23rd, 2014. Fuck the egg and cheese sandwich.
So clearly he's vegan now. He's turning over a new dietary leaf, I think.
I remember the context where he was just like, you know what?
He was eating this
I don't like
breakfast
this at all.
sandwich.
Can the Iron Sheik operate a smartphone, or is he on the computer?
Does he look like a man who can operate a smartphone?
Does he look like a man that can operate a computer?
I wonder if he has
I
someone
just
who just like follows him around and just like
That's
dictates it.
amazing.
I would like to volunteer as tribute for the job of
Oh my god, me too.
being down Iron Cheek tweets.
It's like, you know what? You're right. Iran is number 1. Tag team championship match: Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake.
Which gimmick is this?
With luscious Johnny Valiant
Yep.
versus the British Bulldogs with Captain Lou Albano and Ozzy Osbourne.
Because why not?
And the thing in Albano's face. They're the champions. Greg Valentine is the champion.
And also, Mean Gene was so excited as he relayed that Ozzy Osbourne is from Manchester, but that's fucking wrong. He's actually from Birmingham. But he was
Yeah, it's weird.
But he was so happy. I can't hold it
That's all
against
that
him. He was so
matters.
excited.
Monsoon asks, what is Ozzy going to do for the Bulldogs? And Gene does not answer this question.
No one knows.
Like last year,
Sell them drugs.
yes.
He did glare at him and mutter, "You'll shut your fucking mouth if you know it's good for you."
Like last year, we get an outside referee. Thanks so much. There are 3 men with no real gimmicks in there. Greg is Greg is a guy named Greg. That's kind of an
His name
asshole.
is Greg.
The Bulldogs are from
Brit.
Great England, and then there's a stripper.
Yeah.
Dynamite Kid goes for an Irish whip spot with Greg. Greg barely makes it. Kid is moving so fucking fast. Dynamite Kid fucking owns this match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, he's
Dynamite,
all over the
Yeah.
Like Dynamite Kid in real life, kind of an asshole, but damn good worker.
No, yeah, and actually, Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith are both like fantastic wrestlers.
And apparently also hated each other.
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh god.
I wrote down the timestamp here. At 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 45 seconds, Gene Okerlund says that Greg has been in the ring way too long and needs a tag.
Because
It
Barber
has been 2.5 minutes.
I noticed that Barber just kind of refused to work during this match.
Is Greg Andre?
Yes.
It's not everyone who gets verbally degraded
Shit.
by a potato in a jacket, but
Right. Nice press slam, though, from the British Bulldog. Bulldog, beautiful German fisherman suplex.
God, there were
And-
so many great moves in this match.
We do get our first sunset flip to swinging arms around like a fucking windmill. We get that's
that
our
weird,
first WrestleMania
like,
spot.
the hula spot.
Yeah, Greg windmills for half an hour. Gene says that Ozzy is shaking at ringside, but being that this is 85, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I actually made a bullet point. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Greg gets a fucking awesome looking pile driver on Dynamite for 2. Greg hops up to the top rope, is thrown off. Greg motions for Beefcake to come in, help him break the tag, which is actually really smart and looks so good. I've never seen that before, but I love that. Greg actually motions, come in here and help me because I can't get him off me. That was awesome.
It was so great.
Either that or Beefcake literally didn't know what the fuck was going on, and Greg had to tell him what the fuck in the ring.
Because if you look, I'm looking at Martin's notes, and it's all Greg does this, Greg does this. Notice you don't see Brutus anywhere doing anything. Because I'm pretty sure he didn't work this match at all.
Oh yeah, Brutus.
Yeah. Also Brutus Beefcake. Which, by the way, I love that the guy who directly participated in this match the least is named Brutus fucking Beefcake, and he is a stripper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful stuff.
It did work.
Really great work rate in the match, apart from Brutus. Greg is much more of a punch kick wrestler, but he does get some great work in through the match. He makes Beefcake look good just by being around him. You really get the story that the boys in blue are powerhouse youngsters. Valentine is the veteran. Great storytelling. Really good booking in this match.
I completely agree.
From Greg, we get a shoulder breaker. Fuck, I love that move.
Dude, and it looks, and especially if you're sitting in the fucking Stevie Wonder section of the arena, it looks so
like,
great.
holy shit, he just killed him.
It's like that man is dead.
He goes for a pin, pulls Dynamite Kid up at 2.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love that
Kid
spot.
follows by
I love it.
Again, this is where my dad would fucking lose his shit. You got the man beat. What the hell? Kid follows by throwing Greg into Davy's head in the corner.
Brutal.
And gets the 3.
I swear to God.
Again, easily match of the night. Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Purely because hold on. We gotta pause the podcast here. Tinkerbell! Inside now!
Bitch.
We're keeping this in.
Yeah. I think we're
Tinkerbell.
It's you fucking pit bull named Tinkerbell.
So I gave this a 5 out of 5 purely because this was okay, so after the Battle Royal, imagine that you've had to eat nothing but mayonnaise for the last 5 hours.
That is my diet, actually.
Yeah, right. Same. And then you are given a piece of cheesecake. And it's kind of similar enough to be like, oh god, but then you start eating it and you're like, this is not mayonnaise and it's the greatest fucking thing I've ever eaten in my whole life.
Analogies, I love it.
Right, yeah.
And then the analogy.
I also give it a 5 out of 5 because again, like motioning that he needs help in the ring. This was some of like the best ring psychology that was had the entire fucking night.
Okay.
I got to go with a 4 out of 5 on this one. It was absolutely spot on, brilliant, easily match of the night. There's just a lot of stuff going on, a lot of excitement. The crowd was into it, so 4 out of 5.
I agree. Easily match of the night thus far. 4. I thought that it was very, very good. It was. It's not quite a 5. It'll be a while before I give a 5.
I only give 5s to Japanese wrestlers.
Right, yeah. I actually, and I think I might have given it a 5 out of 5 instead of a 4 out of 5, just because I was so happy that it wasn't the Battle
I
Royal.
completely understand.
Rose-colored glasses.
Ozzy and Albano get the belts and hold them aloft while Mr. Ambien announces that the Bulldogs are the new champions. Keep in mind that this is back when the tag team belts mattered.
Aww. No, they also mattered. They also mattered around 2000, and then
That's true.
never again.
Yeah. Okay. Switching to Jesse Ventura, Lord Alfred Hayes, and Elvira.
Boobs.
Elvira, fucking awesome.
She's so great.
And if you don't want people using their gimmick names, Cassandra Peterson.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Scooter.
Yeah, but honestly, anything that was filmed in Los Angeles during this period, I feel like all you had to do was like give Elvira a call, and she would promo whatever shit you were doing.
Yeah, why not?
Hey, why not?
You gotta make a living.
Oh, sorry. Again, I'm a shitty person. The tag match there was 12 minutes and 2 seconds, longest match of the night.
I'm more disappointed in you than I was in G. Gordon Liddy's timekeeping.
I understand that. We get Hercules Hernandez versus Ricky Steamboat.
Yes.
First Mania.
Woo!
Hernandez Pearl Harbors Steamboat. Thank you, Monsoon. Ricky flops around the ring in response as a picture of Rocky in front of the 2 logo tries to fade in at 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 26 seconds. Look at it.
Yep.
The crowd looks really quite tiny here. Quite a few empty seats. Alfred Hayes is better than he was last year, but that could be because last year was so bad, or because we're coming after Mr. Sleepy Naps, the ring announcer.
Well, honestly, he looked a lot more comfortable in that position than the guy who sent the open backstage pre-tape promos.
Right, and
don't get that out.
And don't get me wrong, Lord Alfred Hayes has pooped himself here, but he is he is less worried that others will know that he has.
It's true.
He stopped caring.
Right. That'll happen.
Steamboat does his traditional 2 arm drags, followed by 5 minutes of arm wrenches. Alfred Hayes and Ventura speak over Elvira as she tries to speak up, so she just gives up afterwards. A shame. I'd really like to know what she had to say there.
Also because she's a fucking laugh riot.
She turns out to be a heel announcer, saying the handkerchief around Ricky Steamboat's knee makes him look like a wimp.
Nice.
A few exciting exchanges between the two before we head back to another fucking arm wrench. Announcers start talking about the coming matches during the lull in the match. Nicely done. It does pick back up. They go back to calling the match. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
Hercules gets an amazing cocky pin in for a 2 count. Starts building up a great lead before trying for a body splash, getting a knee in the stomach. Steamboat jumps up, diving crossbody for the 3. A flying tackle.
Yeah. Honestly,
a callback.
I feel like we need to make a glossary of moves invented by Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura, because clearly we've all just been fucking calling them the wrong thing.
That's true. For the 2 of you that are listening at home, please do not jump all over me. I realize I did say this is Steamboat's first Mania, and I realize I am, in fact,
Why
stupid.
didn't you catch that?
It
You
is
are mistaken.
not.
Oh.
It's not.
Oh.
This one, I thought had a bit too much in terms of rest holds, but was pretty entertaining. I gave it a 3. Scooter?
Yeah, I have to go with a 3 on this one because it was quick and entertaining, got the point across. Hernandez healed it up,
Okay. Ryan, nobody cares about yours.
All right, good stuff.
Ryan, what'd you give?
I gave it a 4 out of 5 purely because it was all, you have to understand what a stand-up...
Coming down off the high of the
I know,
Great Mountain.
Right. I was like Jesse the Body Venturing my way through life after that. It was the greatest thing I had ever seen. Up to and including the cool keys that were jangled in front of me 5 minutes prior.
It's true.
Much like Jesse the Body Ventura. For Hercules Hernandez versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, you have to understand how much I mark out over Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That guy, he does great story matches, and honestly, I gave it a 4 out of 5 purely because it was great because I was watching it with Christina, who mentioned, "Wow, these guys actually look like they know what the fuck they're doing."
Oh yeah.
And you watch it and you're like, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is an old hand at this, but he's not like Fabulous Moolah's desiccated fucking corpse.
Right.
So he knows what he's doing. He's a total ring veteran, and aside from the 8,000 arm wrenches present in this match, it was a really good match.
I would agree.
Ugh.
This one comes in at 7 minutes and 33 seconds, by the way. We move on to, Jesus Christ, Adrian Adonis with Jimmy Hart versus Uncle Elmer.
Transvestites are funny and should be booed.
Although
Adonis
actually,
gets booed.
Although actually, what I thought was interesting here, Jesse the Body Ventura, and here's a weird question about wrestling in general. So you have Jesse the Body Ventura with a feather boa and like Mardi Gras beads hanging from his fucking green beret. And where do you draw the line with weird outfits in wrestling? Because you have...
He ain't wearing a dress, is he?
He ain't wearing a dress, is he? Because, you had Macho Man Randy Savage with his neon fringe fucking jacket and cowboy hat.
But it's not a dress.
Yeah, it's not a dress.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
The line is probably Stardust.
Not Gold Dust, Stardust.
Stardust.
Well, yeah.
Well, also Stardust.
Like
Jesus Christ.
But also, I think that's so funny because so much of this is about, like, if a wrestler comes out and he's flamboyant, everybody's about that. Just as long as he ain't wearing a dress.
Right. Or, like, face paint is okay, but makeup's not.
Ah, yeah.
He looks like a woman with a bruise. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Uncle Elmer comes out to generic banjo picking. We get a spot with the heel running for his life out of the ring because Uncle Elmer scares him.
Yep.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah.
He scares me too.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, who the fuck is Uncle Elmer and why does he get that big of a pop?
I have never heard
We'll
of him.
talk about Uncle Elmer.
I had never heard of him before or since, and was just watching this. And I too shared Adrian Adonis' terror of this fucking man.
No, like, when he came out, I don't know if Adonis had that much heat, but people were, like, legitimately popped for Uncle Elmer.
I think it's a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Uncle Elmer later got married on one of the wrestling shows.
Oh.
Let's hope we never comment on that. So Elmer clobbers him. Adrian fucks up a flare bump and falls back into the ring. It still
really
looks
awesome.
cool.
Yep.
Elmer cannot keep his balance after a punch. It is clear from the moment that this starts, the entirety of this match is going to be Adrian selling.
Yeah.
Like it's WrestleMania or something.
Right, he's selling so hard.
Yeah. I think I put something in my notes, I believe, where Uncle Elmer throws a punch so hard he has to sell it.
That's much better than what I have.
Shit, that was great.
There's a cheer as Elmer rips off Adrian's dress. We'll let that sink in.
Jesus.
And apparently his moveset includes a chest bump.
Yeah.
And I believe Elvira at this point says, "Oh my God, put the dress back on."
That is the best. I have that.
So say we all.
Uncle Elmer misses a leg drop and apparently dies from it. Adonis is able to climb the top rope and hit Uncle Pork Flaps with a splash, which Alfred calls a headbutt of some sort.
Ragtime roast beefy weaves. Oh God. Yeah, and I feel
Adonis puts his bow onto the back of Elmer.
Yeah.
And Elvira says she never trusts a man with pink leg warmers.
Which I loved how oddly specific she was about it. And it was completely non-homophobic or transphobic. She was just like, no. Leg warmers on a man are fine, but pink leg warmers, that I can't get behind.
Mercifully, the match is over in 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Scooter, thoughts?
I give this one a 2, mostly because of Adonis' bumping and selling for Uncle Elmer. But other than that,
Sold a chest bump.
Yeah, there's just nothing else going on with this.
He sold his dress being Ryan.
Oh, and Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's presence automatically
Oh,
gives
yeah.
us +1.
Yeah,
Ryan?
And actually, I gave it a 2 out of 5 purely because I can never give a match a 1 out of 5 if Jimmy Hart is at ringside. Wait, was that a long, wet fart noise for Jimmy Hart?
That was an actual fart!
Do you
Edit that out.
Is there some weird thing where you fart every time I mention Jimmy, the mouth of the South Heart?
I hope so. Ask my asshole.
No, but I gave it a 2 out of 5 purely because, Adrian Adonis, like...
Hold on. Hold on.
Another one?
Let us pause for a moment. Mm-hmm. Hold on. So let some silence happen and then go into your sentence about that.
Right. No, okay, so the thing is also, I love that Adrian Adonis's gimmick is making people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he's just like fondling himself and glaring at the crowd.
I see. Like I thought this. Like I didn't know about this guy's gimmick before watching WrestleMania 2. So I thought it was a cool shout out to Gorgeous George,
adorable lady
who wrestled in L.A.
Yeah.
This is again just a big precursor to Goldust.
Yeah.
Nothing's new.
That's when shit got real.
I was thinking about Goldust real hard during this match, but yeah, no. What I also thought was funny was again just Uncle Elmer. I
just watched him and felt sad.
Right?
Honestly.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so what did you do?
The match is short. Adonis' performance helps bring the match up to a 2. Uncle Elmer was known by over 20 different in-ring names, including Big Tex and the Giant Rebel. Tiny the Plowboy, which is also my gay porn name. He even got a promotion to Lieutenant Frazier. I think my favorite is from the Snakes on a Plane School of Naming Shit, where he was Giant Hillbilly.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
I think he may have had a big rivalry with Mr. Body Slam. As Adonis and Hart leave, Hart cuts on the siren on his megaphone and fucking leaves it because he's coming right back and he don't want anyone to know.
It's so great. And honestly, I just love Jimmy Hart so much.
Yeah, he's fun.
And also, as another thing, the Jimmy Hart version of any theme song. Did anybody else, as a child, get a record that they thought was full of wrestling music and like entrance themes, and they're like, "Yeah!" And then it turned out to be the Jimmy Hart version of those themes?
No.
Oh my god! Where like it's not the version; it's some fucking butt munch in his garage with like a karaoke synthesizer. And, you know, like, think of the Big Show's theme. And then think, like, some rando guy going, where the bird? And it's God, the Jimmy Hart version of theme music.
Scott Stapp?
slash Eddie Vedder. slash Sully Erna of Godsmack. Yeah, no, so Jimmy Hart ruined my childhood, and I'm grateful for that.
Okay. We got to an interview. Alfred Hayes interviewing Hulk Hogan. This is your toughest match ever. You're not 100%. Bundy put you in the hospital. Pardon me. I just shit my pants on TV. Hulk says it doesn't matter if he's injured. It's for all the Hulkamaniacs and the world title. And he's a fighting champion. And a cunt.
And I love that he keeps trying to make awful Alfred happen, and it's just not... It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Was Alfred Hayes ever like a heel?
I don't know
announcer?
what the fuck he was, but let me tell you,
he was
awful. Alfred is not street.
He was uncomfortable, is what the fuck he was.
That's his gimmick. I could have that.
Alfred Hayes, the brown shoes on the tuxedo of life.
Tina Belcher of wrestling.
All right.
Yep.
Terry and Haas Funk with Jimmy Hart.
Which, by the way, Haas Funk might be my favorite name this entire pay-per-view.
Why couldn't they call him Dory Funk?
Right?
What, like, was there like
versus Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog?
Woo!
Yeah. Dude, I love Junkyard Dog so much.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Jimmy Hart leaves his fucking siren on the megaphone until the Funks are in the ring. We get the generic shit music for JYD as opposed to Queen.
Right.
Hit him there. Choke him in the ass, your dog. You're a junkyard. Terry goes outside and throws a...
Sorry, I'm sorry to butt in. The name of his theme music is actually Grab Them Cakes.
What, really?
The name of his theme music, and I looked this up, was Grab Them Cakes. So... do with that what you will.
Grab them cakes. Grab them pastries. Gotta get the donuts.
You need to cite your sources, my friend.
Oh, God.
Was this from grabyourcakes.org again?
Again, gay porn or pro wrestling, who can say?
Terry goes outside, throws a steel chair into the ring, forgetting it's not ECW and the future.
He entered the arena screaming, "What year is it?"
The Funks sell like fucking madmen to get over the faces. I noticed the outside men stand on opposite corners than usual. The outside Funk brother is blocking some of the view at times. Kind of weird. Funk sells a clothesline to the outside. Haas runs in so that he can get body slammed. This is such a one-sided match at this point.
Yeah, it really is.
The fans count to 10 as Junkyard Dog slams Terry into the turnbuckle.
Which, by the way, wrestling fans love counting. They love proving that they can count. It's their favorite.
Better than how they count Cesaro's swing nowadays. Which is every 3/4 of a rotation.
Oh, God damn it.
Followed by 5 to the opposing corner. A headbutt throws Terry Funk out of the ring again. Terry has an awesome save, diving over Tito and pulling him by the trunks out of a pin.
Yes.
Fucking lost it. We get a crisscross. Why? And Terry knees Tito in the back before throwing him outside so that Jimmy can kick his ass for a little bit.
I just had a random tangent in my head. Whatever happened to the Executioner?
He went back to parts unknown and opened up a bed and breakfast.
Yeah, and no one was sure of his weight.
This is the crisscross spot.
Someone asked him, like, how much do you weigh? And he's like, I'm feeling really attacked right now. And then
I just came out to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling so attacked.
Check
right
your
now.
privilege.
Yep.
Elvira hopes the trunks don't give away until Jesse suggests then she'll get a real show.
Yes.
At this point, she's pretty okay with the trunks giving away.
Man, I just want Elvira to narrate my fucking life, is what I want.
The heels are allowed to actually get some offense in. Great leg drop by Terry. I love the idea behind missing a leg drop hurts your ass, but hitting it does not.
Yeah. Wrestling physics, it's very important.
Hot tag into JYD to a huge pop. Terry immediately starts choking him.
And actually, what's so weird to me, by the way, is any match with Junkyard Dog during this period, I hadn't even heard of him until, like, a couple of years ago, and this guy got such huge fucking pops. Like, why didn't they...
really, yeah.
Like, why did they push Hulk Hogan's useless ass when they had Junkyard Dog?
Because he was black.
That'd be why, yeah.
No, why did they push Hogan when they had Savage? I mean, seriously, why did they push Hogan when they had anybody other than, like, Uncle Elmer?
Which, which, by the way, there's an alternate timeline where Uncle Elmer was the breakout star, so...
Shut up. Yeah. You shut up. That's the darkest timeline.
Yep.
So Terry starts choking JYD. It's in full view of the ref. The ref does nothing because it's, just a choke. It's fine.
EC dub. EC dub.
Junkyard Dog counters with a headbutt and a back body drop to the outside concrete.
Ow.
ECW.
Yeah, and actually, while watching that, my butthole just clenched. Like, oh.
After
God.
that spot, Terry Funk, I have this in caps, Terry Funk gets body slammed on a table. ECW.
ECW.
Which does not break.
No. It looks so painful.
Oh, Botchamania.
He had this look on his face like, this is the worst thing that has ever happened.
Junkyard Dog punches Jimmy Hart and Haas. After a small package, Tito runs in to stop Haas from breaking up the pin. Fucking puts on a figure 4? What? Dude, what the fuck are you doing? You're not the legal man. The referee tells him to fuck off. His back is turned long enough for Hart to throw Terry the megaphone. Love it. Hits Junkyard Dog, gets the 3.
Yep.
Tito, like last year, tries to tell the ref what happened, but the ref doesn't seem to care this year. Elvira says, wow, it looks like that dude is really hurt, in reference to Terry Funk.
She is right.
She is a psychic. I feel like we can leave that on a loop for the rest of his career.
Yeah, it's just, that dude looks like he got pretty hurt. Like, yes.
Yes, he did.
Just
what
in
is
general.
it that Hayes refers to this, and he's not happy with the outcome? What exactly does he call it? I can't quite...
something, I think, a miscarriage of what is right and wrong.
No.
Hayes... That was in poor taste. Hayes calls this a travesty of justice, which not only is the name of our podcast, but it's also going to be the name of our band.
Yeah,
our metal,
our metal funk band. Grindcore sludge.
And shit. Literally, we're just going to
Celtic band.
All we're going to do is like micro metal versions of Iron Cheek tweets, so like 5-second songs. It's gonna be great.
Fuck the Hammer Cheek.
God bless Haiti and fuck the Hulk Hogan, but like with drums.
What did you give this one, Ryan?
I gave this match a 4 out of 5.
Ooh, card heating up.
Go ahead. Oh, it's good. It only heats up 7/8 of the fucking way through. I gave it a 4 out of 5 because like I couldn't quite give it a 5 out of 5 because I feel like there was, goddamn, it went off the rails there, and it was a kind of a spot fest. Not there wasn't really any continuity to the match. It's just like a bunch of weird shit happened. The Funk Brothers sold like madmen, and that's pretty much it. But it was great.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened. You used to be the one that was really harsh on these, and I guess your brain fried, and you're suddenly like, yes, all this is good.
I'd like to point out I have given
after the fucking battle.
I'd like to point out I have given after everything after the battle royal. Lol, Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy. I still gave most things in this a 1 out of 5, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I have to go with a 3 out of 5 because the Funks did bump like crazy. It was a solid match, schmozzy, but still pretty good.
I'm going to go with a 3 as well. It doesn't tell a whole lot of a story, but it did show the faces as pretty dominant. True star of this match, though, Terry Funk.
God bless.
The Funks were brought into the Hall of Fame as a tag team in 2009 by Dusty Rhodes. Although that man breathes so hard.
Man.
Ric Flair!
It's
Starcade!
Honestly, every time that I've seen Dusty...
He's got a bicycle!
Every time I've seen Dusty Rhodes on the mic, I'm like, is he okay?
No, he's not.
No, he's really not.
Although I really think that Terry should have his own spot as a singles competitor because holy shit, Terry Funk.
He makes everyone look good.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of carried this fucking match.
At the my favorite Terry Funk thing that I saw was like on WWE's like 50 greatest superstars of all time. I don't remember where Terry Funk was, but they were showing a clip from one of his promos, and it's like he was like, if anyone talks bad about you, you smack him in the mouth, and he proceeded to smack a horse in the mouth.
I'm going to need that to be played at my funeral with no explanation, and that's all. That's all they show.
Look, God bless you, Terry. Look, they start bringing in the cage at this point. We get a video package for Bundy and Hogan, and Scooter lost.
I'm still thinking about it smacking that horse.
Jesse asks if the cage looks like something in Elvira's house. She agrees, and he adds, the one with all the bats. Nice save from where she was probably taking
I was about
it.
to say, like, all right, well, no, we're not doing this. Okay.
Video shows Hulk doing elevated, stiff-legged deadlifts, standing on a bench with 135 pounds. This is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, actually, and I was watching that going, like, that looks like maybe 100 pounds that he's, like...
No, it's 135,
he's, like,
but the fact that he's on a bench... Why is he standing on a bench? You will fuck your shit up if you are not the most graceful son of a bitch. Anyway, we see Hogan, getting beat up by Bundy. Bundy hits his 3 avalanches, 2 Bundy splashes. Hogan has a seizure in the ring.
No, wait, hold on. And actually, the other funny thing, I think Mean Gene Okerlund, I've seen him uncomfortable before because, but I've never seen him more uncomfortable than when Hogan was doing chin-ups in front of weirdly placed in front of the camera screaming, and he's just hidden behind him like a munchkin who has no idea what's going on.
Right. Hogan having the seizure though in the ring, I think that's the really only way he actually sells anything. The guy in the red shirt, I guess his trainer, says he's worried about Hogan's lower back. His lower back is hurt. Hulk Hogan is doing deadlifts.
Which is the best thing to do for your lower abdomen.
And he's like, the doctor's like, yeah, he just looks so strong. He shouldn't be doing this, but he looks so strong doing it. And Hogan's just screaming as he does it.
Hogan says my favorite line ever as he's preparing for the weighted chin-ups. He says, Bundy's going down. These chins are going up.
Yes. Oh my God, I could not stop laughing.
Hogan is over 300 pounds and gets a 100-pound dumbbell to do chin-ups with. Holy shit. They are half reps, like all of his moves, but hell. Gene wonders if he's putting too much pressure on his lower back with chin-ups.
Jesus Christ.
Not a problem with deadlifts, but the chin-ups.
Chin-ups are the opposite.
Jesse goes over to Heenan and Bundy. Heenan says, of course, Bundy's going to be champion. Bundy... pretty good on the
Oddly
mic.
enough,
Says every time they've been together, it's been Hogan on his back. Fire up the ambulances because I'm sending Hogan to the hospital again. fucking
Man,
Yeah, he's good enough where he doesn't need Heenan to do his talking for him. Heenan is just there to be awesome.
yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Bobby the Brain Heenan, he's like hot sauce for me in that add him to fucking anything and I will like it more. Even if it's a thing I already like, more Bobby the Brain Heenan, always. And then King Kong Bundy, has anybody noticed how weirdly pretty his face is?
I know, right?
It is so weird because
he's the world's fattest.
No,
baby.
it's incredible because he's got big, pretty eyelashes and kind of a cute little button nose and very pretty full lips. And I've noticed that he looks like a smaller face that was somehow grafted.
Ryan,
Yes.
do you want to fuck?
I
King
kind
Kong
of want to
Bundy?
fuck King Kong Bundy. You know, listen. No, okay. I mean, he's weird, but like you're watching him and kind of his face doesn't look like it belongs on his hulk of a head.
No, like it's interesting. Like his head to body area is weird. Like he doesn't have a neck.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like there's no his neck doesn't really happen. It's just a back that ends up becoming a
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, his head's pointed. Almost like a cone head.
It's incredible.
I thought they did such a good job building up the feud leading up to the cage match. Thought it was done so well. Between the last match, which by the way was 11 minutes 43 seconds, we spend 17 minutes and 16 seconds before this match happens. Between the Funks and the cage match here. But that brings us King Kong Bundy versus Hulk Hogan, the current champion, for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Sorry, WWE.
And actually, at this point, it's important to point out Susan St. James. Like she's doing promos with Vince McMahon, and it's great because she keeps smiling slyly at the camera. And I know this expression because I've known a lot of alcoholics. The expression that says they don't know that I'm drunk. This is amazing. And God, I love her. I love her so much. Not because she's good at announcing a match, because she's not, but because I just want her verbally degrading everybody as their judgmental aunt.
I understand. We get a guest ring announcer now, Tommy Lasorda. Why couldn't we get a guest ring announcer for Uncle Sleepy Mouth?
I'm going. By the way, I'm going to demand that, a la the My Immortal fanfic, I'm going to demand that you come up with a different name for Lord Sleepyface every single time.
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
Why do not bring My Immortal onto our airwaves,
I want to
Ryan?
apologize for that.
We might have to do a reading of that. Timekeeper Ricky Schroeder is introduced, followed by Robert Conrad, guest referee. Lasorda gets across the rules for how to win the match. You escape the cage.
Jesus.
Thank you, Tommy Lasorda.
Thank you.
King Kong Bundy comes out to no music. But Heenan's shirt is loud enough.
Listen, they couldn't afford pyro, but they had Bobby the fucking Brain.
Hulk Hogan comes out to when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
You gotta bake a ham.
Fits pretty well with the storyline because his ribs were broken.
So I kind of so mentioning Bobby the Brain, I realized King Kong Bundy looks like. He looks like Krang. And now I'm mentioning
He does look like Krang. Holy shit!
Oh my god!
Not Krang, but his like
Scooter.
Krang, like the
his
guy who carries around
Scooter.
Krang.
Yeah.
I can never look at King Kong Bundy without thinking Krang.
fucking broken.
Fucking ever
Bobby the Brain is Krang, and King Kong
is
Bundy is the vessel.
The meat suit, yeah. No, and honestly, I was so irritated as King Kong Bundy came out to like no music because fucking let's push Hogan harder. That's great.
Yeah, he needs a
He's
push.
the rub.
That little underdog needs
He
a
does.
push. Which I should mention. This is pretty securely in the Hulkamania era. The Hulkamania era begins about a little over a year before WrestleMania 1 when he first wins the match, the title, from the Iron Sheik. This happens on January 23rd, 1984. Literally the day after I was born.
Wow.
Coincidence?
Fun stuff there.
No.
I think so.
Probably.
Like, Hulk was just waiting. And then, like, my mom calls him up and it's like, it's done.
This contract is sealed.
Brother.
Little known fact, Hogan leg dropped Martin's mom. Martin popped out.
That is the weirdest fucking image.
That's true.
One moment, I'm going to choke Scooter here. So, giant pop for Hogan, of course, as he chews on his askew bandana. He's pointedly ignores fans trying to high-five him. Fucking
God, I just hate
Hogan climbs the cage, straddles it, tears his shirt off. Now, this is an iconic shot for WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That part looks
Right, ripping his
awesome.
shirt off on top of the cage.
Alfred Hayes gets over the tagline, "This is what the world has come to." We get an exchange of lefts and rights and a big boot from Hogan, thereby completing his move.
Yep, done.
list. Hogan chokes Bundy's clothing. He takes Bundy's clothing and
What?
chokes him with it.
Okay.
Because he's a good guy.
Yeah, clearly.
Hogan uses all 6 of his maneuvers on Bundy, and then Bundy is allowed to finally get some offense.
Right.
Possibly fewer moves than Hogan, but gets across the story of a hurt back when Hogan tries to body slams him. He rams Hogan's back into the cage. He rips Hogan's rib tape off. Elvira gets excited. Oh boy, they're taking off more clothes.
And she's doing here what Jerry Lawler made a fucking career out of in the 90s.
See, okay, I just got you mentioned that you mentioned it briefly in that little spiel. Hogan is the biggest babyface of all time with the most heel moveset,
Yep.
back rakes
That's
and
a
all.
really good point.
It's
Yep.
I didn't even think about that.
I think he got trained as a bad guy.
He was a
and
bad guy for a while.
Oh yeah, he was a bad guy for a while. He just never bothered.
No,
updating his
he was
moveset.
trained to be
that would
he
be
was
work.
trained to look like a Twinkie and look good, and that he God, I just hate him so much.
So, as Hogan is being choked with his own athletic tape, Alfred lets us know that Hogan has a strategy. Okay.
Does he say what it is?
Elvira says, he can't do that, can he? Referencing the choke. Elvira has not been watching this entire fucking pay-per-view, apparently.
It's okay.
Also,
neither are we.
no one minded Hogan's choke. Hogan throws Bundy into the cage to a huge pop and at no point shows that he has any sort of injury. Bundy gets busted open. Hogan adds a 7th move to his repertoire, the back rake.
Ooh.
And when I say a 7th move to the repertoire, a lot of times we use hyperbole here on the show. I literally counted
Yeah.
how many moves. The back rake is seriously the 7th maneuver. I'm including a punch and an Irish whip.
Amazing.
And actually, I put down in my notes there is only one move in this entire match. It's body slams and attempted body slams.
Hogan chokes Bundy on the ropes. Remember, good guy.
Good guy.
Hogan finally does something with his injury angle. Thank you, God. And falls. He fails out on a body slam. He does do a very nice fallback. Then Hogan comes back and chokes him again.
As you do.
Avalanche! Bundy hits a splash afterward. Hogan seizures in the ring before no selling. Jesse says, "Look at all that blood," and Elvira gets over her own angle, responding, "It's making me hungry."
God. As a child, she was my dream woman when I saw Elvira, Mistress of the Dark on basic cable. So this really,
I'm not surprised.
She's my dream.
Yeah,
woman.
still, Jesus.
Elvira's hot.
Oh God, she's so great. And then also I noticed during this match that Hogan, it's okay, if you're trying to go with a story, it's like he realized for a second that, wait a minute, my ribs is hurt, and then completely forgets about it after making one gesture a bit.
He sold it exactly once in this match. I do want Elvira to talk about my life,
Right?
I know, right?
She's fucking hilarious.
Dude, and then of course she got shouted over.
I wish she could have. She should have just been the commentator for everybody. She did a better job than fucking Alfred Hayes. Although without Alfred Hayes, we would not have
our namesake.
The travesty of justice. Another avalanche. Hogan no sales again. Follows it with a power slam because his back isn't hurt at all, and a leg drop, which Alfred calls a knee drop.
Oh my God!
Listen. He has knees, and he dropped this is so
the
simple.
knees do fall.
They do.
You had one job, Hayes.
One job.
The knee is part of the
Know
leg.
your finish.
He was just being more specific.
Oh God.
Hogan climbs out. He chases down Heenan. Heenan escapes back into the cage. Hogan follows and punches Heenan and throws him into the cage. gives him an atomic drop, and sends him packing. Hogan is handed his belt as Tommy Lasorda's mic is cut back on mid-speech.
Jesus.
Hogan immediately begins posing. Jesse calls him an egomaniac. Thank you. He continues posing long enough that they have to loop his music. The most entertaining part of this match was Elvira's very limited commentary. Putting Hogan in a cage is such a waste of a gimmick. Yeah. I give this one a 2.
Yeah.
That's
oh, please.
This is definitely solidly in the 2 territory for the various reasons we've already stated.
Yeah, 2 here, and then also because, on behalf of Christ, you had a guy who had King Kong in his name, and at no point did he climb on top of the cage.
He probably couldn't.
Well, oddly enough, though, he does fall under the acrophatic trope.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with King Kong Bunny. He's a pretty decent wrestler for his size and what he can do. And I just think that putting them in the cage was a mistake, and they should have just, I don't know, had a match.
You know who should have been in the cage? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Hercules Hernandez.
Fuck yeah.
Well, you got to think though. Back in the day, the cage. This is before Hell in a Cell. The cage was supposed to end a blood feud.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the end game match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was a big blowout match, and it was a blowout match for them. It was, it was vicious. There was a little bit of blood. There were a whole lot of chokes. So I mean, I get it, but still, just
as far as
I say 2.
As far as blowout matches go, this was a long fart in a bathtub. It was
in fact a 10-minute, 19-second fart where some red came out. Which is not a pleasant for you.
Yeah. Oh God. You might want to go see a doctor if red is coming out when you fart in a bathtub.
If you are thinking about watching WrestleMania 2, then I would suggest you maybe watch a little bit of the first match, and then immediately skip down to after the Battle Royal. Other thoughts on the pay-per-view, guys?
I just feel so bad for wrestling in the 80s. I never really watched it that much because I was a 90s kid. And I don't know, I guess wrestling moves weren't really invented till 91, I imagine.
Past the back.
Actually, it was around the time that Dean Malenko emerged fully formed from Zeus's head.
And began crafting his 1,000.
That's probably my favorite thing about watching WWE programming, because I don't do it a lot. But when I see the agents come out and I see Dean Malenko in a suit, I'm always like, yeah, Dean Malenko.
Yes. I still wanted to see him put somebody in an arm.
Oh man, like at Battleground when I saw Jamie Noble, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Although I feel like this pay-per-view perfectly perfectly summed up Vince McMahon's weird fucking proclivity for meat piles that cannot wrestle. Like
that's the Battle Royal for you.
Apart from
God, he was just, you could just see him masturbating furiously off camera at all the big men in the ring, and it's like, here was a
look at the mass.
Although, and here's the thing though, I say that, but WWF blew up because of Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan. So I mean, I can look at it now and be like, sort of the guy that goes, man, Herman's Hermits should have made it instead of the Beatles, when no one fucking knows who that is. And I can look at this and go, why didn't Junkyard Dog get a fucking push and Hulk Hogan's sunburnt ass is out there flexing for 10 minutes? But maybe I'm the asshole because he was a
Well, it's just the right time and the right place. I can't really explain it because it's not like, I guess we're looking at it from 2000 era smarks. Right. Who want work rate, and I guess the vast majority of people don't really care about that. They want to see big muscly superhero defeat the bad guys. So I guess we're just looking from a different perspective.
Yeah, and it's kind of like trying to in retrospect sort of look at again Jimi Hendrix's solos and go, well, he's not Steve Vai, and well, yeah, but without Jimi Hendrix there would be no Steve Vai.
And to this day you kind of see that with John Cena. People he's better than Hogan. I'm not going to try to compare. Yeah. Well, as far as work rate goes, but it's the kids want to see the big muscly guy slam the bad guy.
His work rate is total dildos, but he tells a good story.
Yeah,
John Cena.
Yeah, he tells a better story.
Dude, John Cena works his ass off.
He works better
He
than Hogan.
really does. John Cena is a million times better than all these fucking idiots on the internet want to give him credit for. I am so tired of Cena being in the main event, but I respect the man.
Yeah, I agree.
Just out, holy shit.
Like that's just a kind of a different situation where we're tired of seeing Cena, and I wish the the heads in the WWE will see that. It's like we've seen his match.
See, the thing that the internet hate machine doesn't jump on as much as they should is the stuff that again CM Punk's infamous pipe bomb worked shoot is that, like, again, you get guys like Batista and The Rock who drop the fuck back in and are all of a sudden main eventers again. And, like, John Cena is in there working his ass off, and, you know, he does deserve to be successful. I'm sick of seeing him, but that to me is so much less fucking irritating than Batista dropping back in and all of a sudden being a main eventer.
Well, I loved it. I loved how the fans chat all over that when he came back. And it's like, he was like, I'm coming back, and I'm going to win the title. And the fans were like, no, we want Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Like, and they eventually, they were going to ignore it for the longest time, and they eventually gave in. So it's just keep, vote with your wallets, kids. Show them who you want.
Yeah, it's really the only way to do it.
And honestly, it's not John Cena's fault that they've pushed him as much as they have. And I mean, he even mentioned in an interview ages ago that, like, he wanted to drop back to a mid-carder and come up with a better, like, gimmick than the one that he had, because he felt like he was kind of locked into this kind of latter-day fucking Hulk Hogan thing, because he has.
Yeah, instead of prayers and eating your vitamins, it's hustle, loyalty, and respect.
We do want to go ahead and take the time to thank everybody for listening to three pathetic, ugly guys discussing wrestling 28 years after the fact. Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at ToJ Podcast, on Tumblr, tojpodcast.tumblr.com, and facebook.com/ToJ Podcast. We will be back next week with our discussion on WrestleMania 3. I'm Marty.
I'm Scooter.
I'm Ryan.
And remember, Ryan kind of wants to fuck King Kong Bundy.
Little bit.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna get a hold of the stud here. You're playing with John Studd.